الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على المبعوث رحمة للعالمين وبعد. I need my glasses to see Blinken. Let's talk about Blinken. In a column published close to 4 decades ago titled Israel's Saving Grace. Israel's Saving Grace. Blinken wrote about the challenges facing Israel after the Sabra and Shatila massacres. To remind you, the Sabra and Shatila massacres, Christians affiliated with the Jews protected by the Israeli army in Beirut went into Sabra and Shatila and slaughtered men, women and children, Muslims, Lebanese and Palestinians. They slaughtered them. Who was the leader of the armed forces then? Sharon, for which he was called a war criminal. He's not the only one. So look at the soft-hearted Blinken wrote about 4 decades ago after the Sabra and Shatila massacre. Writing in September 1982, just a week after the event, Blinken proclaimed that Israel is not, has never been, nor will ever be the irreproachable, perfectly moral state some of its supporters would like to see. Israelis are, after all, only human. Still one pedestal the Jewish state can stand on, and stand on alone in the Middle East, is that of a democracy. Blinken warned that a time may come for Israel in which neglecting popularity becomes unsafe, support abroad dwindles, backing at home follows suit. Who's Blinken? He is the Secretary of State of the United States of America, working from Tel Aviv. He's a Jew. He said he's a Jew. After what Hamas started October 7th, he rushed to the side of the Jews, where he has his office there, it seems, and said something like, I don't come to you only as a Secretary of State of the United States, but also as a Jew. And said a word in the middle of what he said, pogroms. Most people don't know what they are, including most people in the West. So it seems that this man is working from Tel Aviv. He was appointed by Biden to be the Secretary of State of the United States of America. Can you count how many times he went to Tel Aviv since October 7? I doubt it. He was sitting with the Council of War of the Israelis, planning the more massacres. They're not more. They killed more Palestinian and Lebanese Muslims in Sabra and Shatila than they killed so far in Gaza. Many more, in the thousands, slaughtered, sometimes in front of each other. Sharon Israeli army, but they are only human, you know. So now he's rushing there. He didn't say to the Israelis, I come to you as the Secretary of State for the United States of America to warn you against doing another Sabra and Shatila, because they're only human. Hamas, they're only human. And maybe, you should seek a way out of this conflict that's not going to end. Even if they kill 1 million people in Gaza, may Allah forbid, it's not going to end. It's not going to end. Safety is not going to come to the Jews as long as they keep slaughtering Palestinians, depriving them of the basic rights that human beings deserve. Cutting water, medicine, food from 2 million Palestinians living in a concentration camp 5 miles by 25 miles. That's all. 300,000 Israeli soldiers fighting Hamas that has maybe 20,000, 15,000, let's say 30,000 fighters. They don't have heavy weapons, never had. The rest of the Palestinians in Gaza, they don't have weapons. They don't have weapons. Like today you hear about that Shifa hospital. They're just criminals. They're arresting people who are in the hospital to interrogate them, remove the children and women and men who are being treated at the hospital, and said this is a compound for Hamas. And Biden comes today, he came to life, at Sleepy Joe. He's back. Not fixing the major struggles he faces next year for his re-election, the inflation, the unemployment, the division in America that made a half of it hate the other half, and many other issues that he is facing. No. He came back to life, not to talk about the hundreds of thousands, close to 2 million people who just walked inside the United States since the beginning of the year. This year, 2023. No. His support is for Israel. Being a Catholic himself, and the Catholic Church from the beginning has caused the death of countless Jews. In his own holy book, the New Testament, the American president, a Catholic, reads about the Jews persecuting Jesus, leading him to crucifixion, protected by the Romans. The Romans were smacking him on the back of the head, king of the Jews. And the Jews were spitting on him. They stripped him naked, made him wear a pink dress for women, then killed the God that Biden worships. Hey, it's for Israel. Maybe my stance with the Israelis would help me be re-elected. So Blinken didn't come and say, I represent America. There are millions of Muslims in America and tens of millions of Americans who are sick of Israel, sick of the Jews, sick of all the money that went the Jewish way, all the weapons, all the intelligence, all the support, even in the middle of massacres of untold ruthlessness that the Jews are inflicting on 2 million people. It's a concentration camp, isn't it? It is a concentration camp. Don't talk about democracy. Leave this word here in your pocket until you meet your maker, and then you defend yourself, Mr. Blinken. You are being paid by the money taken from the American taxpayer. to be a Secretary of State for America, not for Israel, not to participate in war against defenseless people. You are being paid by money that's forced from the paycheck of every American, especially the poor ones, since the rich ones don't pay taxes that much, as Trump did, and Biden didn't change. You are not being paid to be working from Tel Aviv. You are working as an American Secretary of State, not a Jew. But what can we say? So this Blinken, he's not even blinking. He's standing there, support for the Jews, support for that, He didn't say Hamas is only human, and Hamas don't do, these things by neglecting popularity, because then you would be unsafe. Support abroad dwindles. Backing at home follows suit. No. He's a Jew. And it shows his loyalty, number one, is to Judaism, not to the American Constitution. How come these people talk about democracy there, and there are tens of millions of Muslims in Europe, especially those little fascist European democracies? They have millions and millions of Muslims, but they don't care for the sentiment of the Muslims. They're taxpayers. They're far more than the Jews in Europe, far more. But they come and support Israel like it's a standard, So Blinken didn't tell the Jews, listen, millions of American Muslims are against you, period. And millions of American non-Muslims are getting sick of you and all the crimes you're committing in their name, using their weapons and paid for by their money. No, it's just unbelievable. So he stands there and talks about his grandparents, his stepfather, and what they suffered in Europe. You see the key word here, Europe, not in Palestine, because they had no ties to Palestine since the year 70, when the Romans kicked the Jews out of Palestine. In Europe, there was something called the pogroms. Russian word meaning attack or devastation. Historically, it designates mob attacks accompanied by pillage and murder that were perpetrated against the Jews of Russia, for example, in 1881, 1882, and in 1903. So you're talking about pogroms, whatever it is, how you pronounce it. It happened by the Christians against the Jews in Europe. Why would you come and say, by the way, you're killing Palestinians because Palestinians devastated my people, did the Holocaust, and killed the pogroms, and my grandparents had to leave Russia and go to Hungary, I think, and my stepfather was whatever. Well, this was done by Europe, yeah, Blinken. You have to blink, to show that you're alive. But life comes from here, and you don't have it here. You're just a criminal, a war criminal, just like Biden, just like the administration here, minus the 400 people who work in the Biden administration who signed a letter calling for a stop to the fighting in Gaza, because they don't support Biden and his stance with the Jews. I can't understand it. I can never understand a Catholic saying, or a Christian saying, that they support Israel, knowing that in their culture, in their psyche, in their books, in their holy book, it says that the Jews killed their God. I can't understand it, because it's not normal. It's not a human way of thinking. Of course, Jesus is not God, never said he was, and he was not crucified also. But anyway, so the pogroms, Russian word meaning attack or devastation, it happened in Russia and other European countries, attacking the Jews, killing them, pillage, whatever it is. So Blinken said, I come before you, not only as the United States Secretary of State, but also as a Jew. Blinken told an audience at Israel's Defense Ministry in Tel Aviv, and he sat with the War Council of the Jews, paid by the millions of Americans who don't want him to represent Israel in the administration, but to represent Americans, including the Muslims, who will never support the Jews. He says, my grandfather, Maurice Blinken, fled pogroms in Russia. My stepfather, Samuel Pisar, P-I-S-A-R, I don't know how he can say it, how he does say it, survived concentration camps. And here I am in Tel Aviv, and you are killing the Palestinians, concentration camp, devastating the country, total devastation, bombing everywhere, hospitals, people's homes, telling the people, you should go to the south of Gaza. There is no place safe in Gaza. I heard it from that Minister of Defense of the Jews. But, go from your homes to the south. While on the way there, they bombed them. They killed about 12,000 Palestinians so far, and in the tens of thousands are the injured. Devastating the hospitals. There's no water, electricity, no food, no medicine, no movement. They can't go anywhere because the planes that were paid for by the American taxpayer are killing them, devastating them. It's unbelievable how these people have the audacity to stand and tell the people, the whole world, we are perfect hypocrites and a damn war criminal. That's what you are, Blinken. Biden is a war criminal too. You see, when Obama started his presidency, for 8 years he was the number 2, the vice president of the United States. They expanded the drone attacks on Muslims in Yemen, Afghanistan, Pakistan, and of course in Syria, killing Muslims as never before. Because the drone, while Obama was saying, no, we're going to stop all this torture of Muslims and all that garbage. These are war criminals. Look how many Muslims they killed. What the people saw, Biden stopped, the Muslim ban from day one. Really? He stopped the Muslim ban, but he's killing Muslims. And we need more money, more weapons. You already got so many billions of dollars of money, cash, support, intelligence, people who fight with you, along with you, and weapons of every kind. You need more money, and against the defenseless people. Come on. My grandfather Maurice, and he spoke about his stepfather Samuel, who survived concentration camps. He said, I understand on a personal level the harrowing echoes that Hamas's massacres carry for Israeli Jews and indeed for Jews everywhere. What a damn hypocrite. Your grandparents, it's in Europe, has nothing to do with Hamas. The conflict in Palestine started before any of the Hamas leaders was born. It started before that. And the Jews killed so many Palestinians so many times. None of these people would come from the American administration tell them, stop. if you have faith in anything, stop. You come there and talk about democracy while you said these words about Sabra and Shatila? What kind of people are these? I really call for the immediate dismissal of Blinken, because his loyalty is with Israel, not with the American people. It's very clear. He made it clear in his own words and his own actions. And I hope the Muslims who supported Biden in the last, elections, realize that this man is an enemy of Islam. A half of the American people despise him, really, so badly. At least 1/3 of the American public hates him so much, and they consider him as an enemy to the American state, to the country. This man is unbelievable. With all the troubles he's facing, he wants to end his presidency. I hope it's the last one, and I hope they don't bring Trump back. Bring somebody who has some kind of humanity in them. I mean, come on. You either have the devil or his cousin, the devil or his evil twin, from Biden to Trump. This country has 330 million people, so many talents. Find somebody decent, who's not corrupt yet, who has humanity. But what can we say? Let me end with this. Everyone will go back to the creator of everything and everyone, whom the prophets of the children of Israel, whom we believe in, like Jesus, used to call Elohim, Allah, not God. Everybody will go back to Allah. And you have to present your defense for the way you lived your life and the things you did in your life. So, the meeting will be there. In the meantime, the Muslim world is asleep, and they're letting their Muslim brothers and sisters in Palestine being massacred. In the West Bank, which doesn't have Hamas, and in Gaza, I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give his aid and support and comfort to our Muslim brothers and sisters in Palestine and all over the world. Walhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen.